Revelations over Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's move from Royal Lodge are, of course, significant. The MSM is using that to distract from even more disturbing revelations coming from the High Court in London over Prince Harry and what I believe is now a crooked and dodgy case versus the Daily Mail. And what do you expect when you have a Duke of Delusion relying on criminals, relying on phone hackers, relying on the scum of society in bringing a case of personal vengeance versus the Daily Mail? And now we have learned via the Daily Telegraph that Prince Harry's team sent a private investigator a death threat. He takes this death threat so seriously, he is now determined, for his own safety, not to give evidence in person in court. Indeed, he wants to give evidence from a secret location because he believes Harry and his thugs have put his safety at such risk. Harry's lawyer trying to ensure this doesn't happen. We're going to get into these shocking developments with royal YouTube sensation P. Diner in just one moment. But first, here is this new reporting out of court. A private investigator has alleged that a member of Prince Harry's legal research team made a death threat against him. Gavin Burrows, a key witness in the High Court privacy claim brought against the publisher of the Daily Mail, said he was so fearful for his safety that he has asked to give evidence remotely from a secret location overseas. He will refuse to do so if his hideout is shared with lawyers from either side, the judge was told. Mr. Burrows' disputed confession to unlawful information gathering for journalists between 1993 and 2011 is at the heart of the case. He has alleged that a pivotal witness statement in which he appeared to admit targeting a large number of private individuals, including Prince Harry, by hacking phones and bugging cars, was, quote, prepared by others without my knowledge. The court heard that the alleged death threat was made against him via voicemail on behalf of Graham Johnson, a former tabloid journalist and convicted phone hacker who has been working as a key legal researcher and investigator for claimants. Mr. Burrows said he was prepared to share a recording of the relevant message as evidence. However, Dan Waddle, a fellow member of Mr. Johnson's team, said that he recognises that the voice on the recording is that of Gavin Burrows himself. In a bad-tempered exchange with Mr. Justice Nicklin, that's the judge, David Sherborne, who is, of course, the slippery lawyer representing Prince Harry, alleged that Mr. Burrows was effectively holding the court to ransom by putting conditions on his participation. But P. Diner, I am absolutely disgusted that the mainstream media is just ignoring this story, ignoring these claims, because this is someone who remains in the line of succession, using the courts, I believe, inappropriately, and now claims that his own team were making death threats against this man. I mean, by the way, all of these people who are giving so-called claims to Harry are, on the whole, people who were doing dodgy dealings, people who were phone hacking. They should not be trusted. But the point is, how does Harry justify this, P. Diner? Especially, by the way, when let's look at the claims of bullying, of misogyny, of racism from Dr. Sophie Chandoka in relation to the Senti Bali charity. Let's look at the claims of trafficking and rapes and abuse from the African Parks charity. This Duke is so dirty, and it's like people just keep turning the other way.
It's almost like his sense of entitlement just continues to carry on. And this is the behavior of someone who is used to getting their way. He is clearly got a reputation behind the scenes that we all know about things about Harry and, his dealings. Thank goodness Dr. Shindalka has helped us to understand a lot more about Harry's working relationship because of how he treated her and the things he was doing with his charity. Harry has the kind of background of someone that is very nefarious, like on the back end, behind the scenes. But in front of everyone, he tries to portray himself as someone who is the complete opposite. And I think it is about time to start uncovering all of Harry's shady dealings. We cannot forget what happened with the lawsuit several years ago when Harry's emails were revealed talking about how he wanted to cover up the fact that information that he was leaking to the writers of Finding Freedom, he didn't want to show that he was attached to it, clearly trying to hide himself from that cover-ups, trying to say that he was not connected to the information for this book. So that right there shows you in writing from Harry that he has this kind of mindset to do things behind the scenes to cover up his bad dealings. And of course, the things with African Parks and with Dr. Shindalka, things that we heard from when he was in the military. You know, Harry has yet to be investigated. I don't see how anyone like Harry can be the one trying to investigate the dealings of a newspaper when he is the one that has done many things that need to be investigated and looked into further because they're very criminal. They are racist allegations against him, and he has a lot to account for. So, of course, I find it not shocking that he would do something like this or he would be attached to this because he is the man, I think, that pushes this. Because at the end of the day, Harry is the face of all of this. It stops with him. So he is calling the shots. Let's not get that twisted. So of course, yes, there's a lot of outrage behind this because it's sinister, it's wrong, and he needs to be accounted for the things he has done, Harry.
It is so sinister. And the thing is, P. Dina, when it comes to Gavin Burrows, okay, he may have been a private investigator in the past, but if his safety is genuinely at threat now, and that's what he believes, then surely Harry should care about that. Harry shouldn't want his safety to be at threat. Harry is the one that is constantly claiming that his security is at threat, even suggesting that a member of the Sussex squad who just seems to be like a fan with some mental health issues somehow poses so much risk to him that he should receive taxpayer-funded security wherever he goes in the world. Hell no to that, I say. But when it comes to Gavin Burrows, Harry doesn't give a damn about his security. It shows the rank hypocrisy of this man. But speaking of rank hypocrisy, P. Dina, I mean, you almost have to laugh or you would cry. Scabies is back. That very odd-looking bloke, Meghan's mouthpiece, as he has been described by the Daily Mail, is back. I mean, the work he has had done, good Lord. I mean, this is a guy who's 44 years old, but used to lie about his age. But the hilarity in all of this is that he is finally admitting, P. Dina, that he was never a guy who wrote the truth. He was a guy who wrote fiction. And his new book, knowing that his last one on Meghan Markle was a total flop because we now all see through it, this new book is quite literally fiction. As the Royal News Network put it, I don't think Omid Scobie has ever not been writing fiction. Good to see he's thrown away the veneer of a journalism and embraced his true calling of fiction writer. It will probably be as bad at his failed career as a royal journalist. And he is bad at all of this. So bad, P. Dina, that when he unveiled the cover of the book, he actually had the camera turned around the wrong way. Watch.
It's been fully executed. So I thought we'd check them out together. And just as I hoped, they are nice and bright. And it probably is the wrong way around. I don't know how to flip the camera on this. But there she is. This is a fun first novel for me. It is a story of our female protagonist, Lauren Morgan, who moves from the breakneck world of politics in Washington to take over the Buckingham Palace press office.
Oh, good Lord, P. Dina. It's so tragic, isn't it? It's like we all accused you of writing fiction, which the first two books were. So now he's literally doing it. Can I just say, I predict a second flop because this guy knows nothing. This guy knows nothing about how the royal operation works, how the palace operation works. All he knows is the total lies he has been fed for years by people working on behalf of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Right. The lies that Harry and Meghan told him and how he used, I think, his story writing with them to practice for his first novel, right? I mean, this is a man who is trying to continue in the light of royalty. He still wants to be associated with it. Yeah, he got a lot of practice with Meghan. I think a lot of things that he talked with Meghan about will be in this book. And I'm sure she is even in the book with a different name, perhaps. This is someone that I think is just trying to stay afloat, considering all the things that he did with Harry and Meghan that didn't go well. This is what he's turning to now. But he had a lot of practice though, because he was writing a lot of fiction before, I believe.
Yes, he
And so now
was.
he's continuing it.
Yes, he was. He absolutely was. But look, you do make a good point, P. Diner, and we will do it so no one has to go and buy this thing. But of course, in the book, he will make points about Meghan Markle. He will reveal new claims from Meghan Markle. But the problem is, I mean, we just can't take any of it seriously. I mean, the woman, the main protagonist who this is actually based on, is a woman called Sarah Latham, who did used to work for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, but previously she was one of the head honchos in the PR world for Hillary Clinton and various Democrats. And the thing about Sarah Latham, and this is why I just know the story is not going to be covered correctly. Remember, I worked closely with this woman over the course of Megxit and breaking that story, is that she became so disillusioned and horrified by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle and their lies and their constant distortions and their terrible treatment of people that she did jump ship and go and work for Buckingham Palace in the end after Megxit.
Mhm.
But it was only because, Pete Diner, she saw how terribly they acted.
hmm I think a lot of people have seen the light of Harry and Meghan and have stories about them. I think later a lot will come out about what they have done behind the scenes because it's always something with everybody. A lot of people have collaborated the same stories, the behavior of Harry and Meghan. At this point, there's just no way to overcome all of the bad that they have done, all of the poor what is it when you first meet someone, like the first impressions? Meghan and Harry have shown themselves not to be very nice, kind people, people that are good employers. And so they are at a point now where it's just too late to try to help yourself to become what you think you can become in your head. You have ruined your reputation. And now, things are being written about you. People know so much about you that is not good. It's going to be hard to overcome for sure. At this point, game is over. Game is up for Harry and Meghan for sure.
100%. I mean, they are the new Andrew and Fergie. And let's get to this breaking news, P. Diner. Fergie is now reported to have fled to Richard Branson's island just hours after being forced to shut down her charity. This was Andrew Lowney revealing the news to Paula Frolic over on Substack. Watch.
Have you heard anything about Richard Branson and Prince Andrew
Well, we
possibly
never.
being together?
Well, I mean, I think that Sarah Ferguson may well be staying on Necker Island at the moment. I mean, Branson is a very close friend of hers. He's always offering her accommodation.
Wait, what? Sarah Ferguson, right now, as you and I speak, is hanging out with Richard Branson on Necker Island. He's he's the one giving her shelter.
Possibly. I mean, that's the rumor. But, if we remember Sarah Ransom, which is one of Epstein's victims, claimed that she was trafficked to Richard Branson. He then threatened to sue her. She retracted it. And then afterwards, she doubled down on it. So Richard Branson's name, I mean, I've been offered over the years as an agent to countless stories of Richard Branson's activities. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that he's saying, can I join the harem? I mean, he's a well-known reputation for liking the ladies.
I mean, P. Diner, it is astonishing, but we know Fergie is effectively homeless. So she is going to be calling on people who are within Epstein's orbit. And Richard Branson, I know a lot of people like him, and obviously he has just lost his wife, but he is within, or he was within Epstein's orbit, P. Diner.
Right from the opening, the tone is explosive. The host immediately frames the situation as a scandal being ignored by mainstream media, suggesting a deliberate distraction away from high court developments involving Prince Harry's legal case. This is not neutral framing. This is positioning the story as suppressed, explosive, systemically ignored. And that instantly primes the audience to believe something major is being hidden. The real strategic move here? Linking Andrew's Royal Lodge situation to Harry's court drama, implying a coordinated media diversion narrative. That's a classic controversy hook. This is where the story escalates. The transcript introduces a highly serious allegation. A private investigator claims a member of Harry's legal research team made a death threat. Now, regardless of truth or outcome, the optics are devastating. A key witness fears for safety. Requests secret overseas testimony. Claims intimidation via voicemail. From a commentary standpoint, this raises three explosive angles. Court credibility issues. Witness reliability crisis. Reputational damage to Harry's legal strategy. Even the judge's mention of the witness statement being prepared by others introduces a narrative of manipulation, which is incredibly controversial in any legal case. The commentary shifts into a character-based critique. Phone hackers. Former tabloid journalists. Investigators with questionable pasts. This is designed to undermine the moral legitimacy of the lawsuit itself. The underlying controversial argument being pushed. How can Harry challenge media wrongdoing while allegedly working with controversial figures? This segment weaponizes hypocrisy as the central narrative driver. Here the commentary pivots from legal facts to personality framing. The key narrative constructed. Public Harry equals victim and activist. Private Harry equals powerful, controlling figure. The transcript repeatedly emphasizes past lawsuits, email controversies, charity disputes, reputation management claims. This creates a broader controversial thesis that Harry's public persona allegedly conflicts with behind-the-scenes behavior. This is where the tone becomes less legal and more reputational warfare commentary. This segment highlights a strategic contradiction. Harry argues about personal security risks publicly. Meanwhile, a witness claims fear for their own safety. Whether fair or not, this is presented as narrative irony, a common tactic in high-drama royal commentary content. Then the transcript shifts to Omid Scobie, reframing him as a failed journalist, a fiction writer, a mouthpiece figure. This widens the controversy beyond just Harry into the Sussex media ecosystem. This section pushes a larger controversial claim that pro-Sussex narratives are losing credibility and pivoting toward fiction, branding, and reputation survival.
It's pretty shocking to find out a lot of things that have come out with the release of these documents and things that I never would have thought. Richard Branson, he is definitely in a circle of people that have very close, I think, ties to Epstein, and Sarah Ferguson being in that as well. That's where she should be, I guess, to hang out amongst all the people that were in this circle so that you can try to have some kind of decent life at the end of the day. But I mean, there's nothing else out there for her. I'm surprised that a lot of things that came out in that, Dan, it's just so shocking. I even look at Sarah Ferguson completely differently now. Like, I'm just so disgusted by all of it. And there's so many questions that I have about other people that we haven't heard from, that are in these circles. I mean, I think at the end of the day, we will be so shocked behind the information that is going to be released, more information. This is not even the worst of the worst. And so Sarah needs to just seriously, she needs to be on that island, considering what is still going to be coming out about her. I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg. And she needs to be somewhere like remote, because people are not going to take well to this woman eventually, even more so when the rest of this gets exposed. It's just so disgusting.
Exactly. I mean, you took your daughters, who I think were 19 and 21, to go and visit a paedophile, a convicted paedophile, 5 days after he was released from prison. You can no longer take the high ground, Sarah Ferguson, unfortunately. And look, I've had my ups and downs with her. I've met her in the past. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to trust her. No longer.
Yeah.
And then we come to Andrew, who finally has been booted from Royal Lodge overnight in the early hours by the king. So let's get into this. Final exile is how the Sun, which revealed the news, described it. Shamed ex-Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has skulked out of Royal Lodge under the cover of darkness to start his exile. The former Duke of York is understood to have been booted out earlier than planned after his brother King Charles became increasingly concerned with shocking revelations. More emerged yesterday, with Andrew telling Jeffrey Epstein he wanted to be his pet in one creepy email. What the hell? Seriously, Andrew? He wrote in December 2010, Kate has agreed to a deal in London. It's down to you to bring Jay over the line. We don't know what he's referring to there. God, it's cold and dank here. Wish I was still a pet in your family. It is unclear who Kate is, but the subject of the email is entitled Troublesome One. And Tom Sykes, P. Diner, is reporting that the king finally lost patience after the sight of Prince Andrew out riding his horse and waving at members of the public in his Range Rover became prominent. Apparently, he's now at Wood Farm, which is where his late father, Prince Philip, spent his final years. I mean, again, P. Diner, I would argue this is too little too late from the king. Just being totally honest with you, he should have gone a long time ago.
Yeah, and the arrogance of Andrew riding on his horse, waving as if he wanted to be seen. And, you know, we know that there's going to be so much more still coming, that the royals, I mean, the king knew already about these photos way before we did. He knows, I believe, about even more things that are going to be coming out. Like this is just something that we're just now seeing, but he had privy to all of this before. And I'm just surprised, yes, that things didn't happen a lot quicker, you know, for Andrew. We may had not have known at the time, but, you know, we would have seen it eventually, as we're seeing now. And we would have been a lot more, I think, complimentary of the king for doing what he would have done sooner, but it didn't happen quick enough. And the stories then of the people, the girls who are not being spoken about on mainstream media. I'm doing a story today about a 16-year-old girl's diary in these files and what she went through. And I think at this point, Andrew, the best he could do is to try to work with Congress to testify, to tell what he knows about Jeffrey. That would be a step in the right direction. But the fact that he completely ignored that request tells you that this man is so stuck up in his arrogance, just like riding on that horse. He doesn't care to respond about helping these young girls. He doesn't care that he was seen in this position with this girl in this photo, to have the nerve to go riding out on your horse and waving at people. Like, you are so delusional in your arrogance. You need to seriously be smacked down to some reality about your situation, because right now you show no remorse. You show no willingness to try to even be better. So go away so no one has to ever see your face again, because you don't even want to do the right thing. And you should, because it's disgusting. It's horrifying. And I'm just appalled that it took till now to lose your title and to get kicked out, you know? But hey, I'm hoping that he does better. I mean, try to do something good here, at least.
Well, the problem is, P. Diner, he may soon be having to defend his very liberty, because something is changing. I mean, I was just watching the UK Parliament, which is having a debate on the Epstein files over the past hour, and I saw a Labour minister quizzed about Andrew, and initially he said, well, you know, we don't comment on members of the royal family in the House, but the Speaker of the House actually stood up and said, well, he is effectively no longer a royal. You can comment on this. And perhaps the same thing is happening with the police, because the CEO of the organisation Republic, and look, I say this, by the way, these are people who do want to destroy the royal family who are doing this, because Graham Smith openly wants to destroy the royal family. He has now reported Andrew to the Metropolitan Police for alleged trafficking offences dating back to 2010. These were the new allegations that have been made over the past few days. Now we learn that cops are assessing that claim. So an investigation has not been opened yet. But Thames Valley Police said in a statement it was aware of reports about a woman said to have been taken to an address in Windsor in 2010 for sexual purposes. We are assessing the information in line with our established procedures. We take any reports of sexual crimes extremely seriously and encourage anyone with information to come forward. At this time, these allegations have not been reported to Thames Valley Police by either the lawyer or their client. Now, the woman claims she spent the night with Andrew at the 30-room mansion when she was in her 20s before going to Buckingham Palace for tea. It looks like the claim from the lawyer, P. Diner, may have been reported to the Metropolitan Police. And for people who don't know how it works in the United Kingdom, crimes are reported to the police force, which looks after a particular area. So the Metropolitan Police would have to pass the complaint to the Thames Valley Police. But the point is, how long can the police get away with, P. Diner, not even investigating these claims? If Andrew has done absolutely nothing wrong, which of course he stresses, no illegality, then why not go through the investigation and clear your name?
Right. I think that's because there is a there. Something is there. Because if you are innocent, you are quick to try to prove yourself to have nothing at fault. You are completely cleared. You would be rushing to have this investigation done. You would want to do it. But the fact that it is taking so long, there is this diversion of, time and things that are being prolonged. It just shows you that they are trying to divert from this or trying to find a way to let it go away. But it just doesn't show innocence for sure. It shows you have something to hide, if anything, So it's a lot of times I find that people that are accused of things like this, there are other people involved that people are protecting, and that just could be the case here, So it's just other people in his circle, Andrew's circle, that they are trying to protect and trying to prolong the inevitable. I mean, I don't know.
And your Vice President, J.D. Vance, now speaking out against Andrew in an interview with the Daily Mail. Watch this.
There were some scandalous photos of him on the floor with a young woman. Should he testify in Capitol Hill?
I saw Keir Starmer said something about this, right? That he should go and testify. I mean, look, I'm certainly open to it. I think we let congressional Republicans determine whether he adds anything. I know that they're doing a very exhaustive investigation because the thing that people always, I think, forget or sometimes forget about the Epstein investigation is there was a Department of Justice investigation back, I think, in 2007. It was a very bad investigation. There are a lot of things that they didn't try to uncover, a lot of things they didn't try to look at. I would say because they were trying to protect a lot of their friends, but whatever the explanation is, we know that original investigation was very broken. So there's a lot of documents, a lot of information the Department of Justice never even had to begin with because of how broken that early investigation was. I think what the House GOP is trying to do is really exhaustively go through what were his relationships. Was he doing anything financially that was interesting? How did the guy make his money to begin with? That's always been one of the craziest parts of this story is this guy came from nowhere and all of a sudden he's a math teacher and now he's like a billionaire. That doesn't make a ton of sense to me. And I think the House GOP investigation is trying to get to the bottom of a lot of that stuff. I'll let them determine whether they should talk to Prince Andrew. I'd certainly be open to it, but it's their call, not mine.
I mean, unprecedented, P. Diner. Usually you would not see a foreign politician want to weigh in on an issue like that involving the British royal family, involving the king's brother. But we're in unprecedented times.
Yeah, things have changed, and Andrew is no longer, I guess, quote, royalty now. Like, he needs to absolutely, I think, be a part of that. And they're just trying to get to the bottom of a lot of things that they don't have the answers for. And I think Andrew could really provide a lot of insight and help around Jeffrey. And I think even coming clean with what he has done. Like, seriously, just come clean and talk about what has happened in your life that where you had a lapse of judgment, help out with the investigation, and then in turn helping with this investigation now because it was so botched before, and to really provide true value because of how horribly you have gone about your choice making in life. You need to make amends and do something right. And I think this would be a big, somewhat of a win for Andrew to try to provide that insight and just face to face to your demons and what you have done. Just come clean because at the end of the day, it's not going to change. It's not going to get better for you. So you might as well. Okay, so I think it's great that JD Vance is saying that because he would be open to it. I think it would prove him to be on the right track to do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Now more celebrities are speaking out against Harry. Nicki Minaj, hot off her union with President Trump, is really going there. I totally love it. So we're going to get into this.
Strategically, this builds a collapse arc storyline. Failed books. PR fallout. Reputation decline. Insider departures. This is highly algorithm-friendly commentary because it frames events as a long-term unraveling. Now the narrative expands into Sarah Ferguson rumors, Epstein orbit discussions, elite social networks. This is designed for maximum controversy and shock retention. However, the core subtext is public figures connected to controversial circles face long-term reputational consequences. This segment uses speculation-heavy commentary language to intensify emotional reaction and viewer engagement. This is one of the strongest narrative pivots. Key storyline. Andrew removed from Royal Lodge. Public optics worsening. Institutional patience running out. The commentary frames it as, too little, too late. This taps into public frustration about royal accountability and justice timelines, a powerful engagement trigger. This segment escalates tension again by discussing police assessment of allegations. Potential investigations. Parliamentary debate mentions. The controversial framing here is strategic. Innocence versus avoidance of investigation. It presents the situation as a reputational test rather than a legal conclusion, which keeps the narrative dramatic while unresolved. Now the discussion shifts beyond the UK. US political commentary. Congressional investigation references. International scrutiny. This suggests the royal controversies are no longer domestic, they are global reputation events. That dramatically raises the stakes. This transcript is not just reporting. It is structured as a narrative escalation documentary built around 3 pillars. Legal controversy, high court case. Reputation warfare, media plus PR figures. Institutional accountability, Andrew plus monarchy. The underlying controversial message being pushed. That multiple royal controversies are converging into a credibility crisis involving legal battles, media narratives, and public trust. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think the media is deliberately downplaying the High Court developments? This is being exaggerated for drama and controversy? Or is this the biggest royal legal controversy we've seen in years? Drop your answer in the comments. And be honest. Should Prince Harry's legal case face more public scrutiny or less? Also tell me, do you think the royal scandals involving Harry, Andrew, and media figures are all connected, or completely separate issues being sensationalized? Comment your verdict below.